He's back home here in Fairfield, Ohio, all the way from Los Angeles. Please welcome to the stage, Rajiv.
How's everybody doing? We'll do it one more time. It's Friday night. How you guys doing? Make sure, by the way, that your cell phones are off or at least on silent. That is always really embarrassing. Somebody's cell phone will ring. We all have the same reaction. We look over and we're like, what a moron. You know? We all look down and make sure our phones are off. I was in a meeting about this large, and our general manager was speaking in the office, and my cell phone rang. It was a text message, and everybody was really mad at me. And there's only one way out of that if that ever happens to you. It was a text message, so I looked down and I was like, it's a boy! Everybody started applauding. That's a tip for you if you ever need it, so there you go. Flew into CVG yesterday. I was glad not to fly into Dayton. Not a fan of the Dayton airport. I love it. I just can't believe that's where flight was invented. That is the mecca of air travel. Gotta be careful using a Muslim word to describe flight, but you see what I'm saying. I like you guys. All right, okay. We realize these are just jokes. That's good, okay. I will need security on the way out, though. Thank you very much for that. No, that's great. Dayton, it's weird, though. That airport is so small, it looks like somebody assembled it out of a kit, honestly. Tiny place. We have a great show. You know, I guess I should say it's a great show. It's my show. We have a good show for you tonight. I'm so used to saying that as a host, though. We're going to talk about a lot of things, about my trip to India, about technology, about dating, about race, politics, a whole bunch of things. So strap your seatbelts on and all that good stuff. It's going to be interesting because we have such a weird demographic of people. You know, we've got Fairfield Indians, we've got real Indians. Odd demographic of people. I know, like, a lot of my parents' friends are here. They're like, don't give away our secrets. Don't let them know. Growing up in Ohio, it's interesting. You become sort of a white Indian. So, you know, they would call us affectionately almonds, all right? This is the term when I went to college. I didn't realize that that was the term. It's a food term. It wasn't really that offensive. I'm an almond. I'm brown on the outside. I'm white on the inside. Okay? That's how that goes. Like, Asian people can be Twinkies or bananas. Black folks can be Oreos. Okay, you see? So they call us almonds, all right? They should call us coconuts, though, because we're hairy. We're hairy people, man. I mean, the men too, you know? And, stereotypes are true. I'm sorry, they're true. I am not here to break them down. I'm here to reinforce them. I'm sorry. They come from somewhere, all right? They come from somewhere. We really do run customer support. Indians do that, okay? I call in for my visa, you know, and of course the lady is Indian on the other end of the phone. I call in, she's like, what's your name? I'm like, it's Rajiv Satyal. She actually corrected me. It's Rajiv Satyal. Sorry, auntie. My fault. A lot of my parents' friends here tonight. I know I have to do well because they're here. Otherwise, my parents are going to hear no end of it. They're like, see, he should have gone to med school. But it's weird. We have real Indians, and it's hard to know what to call us anymore, right? I mean, there just doesn't seem like there's a term. If we're just like, we're Indians, people are like, well, you're not the real Indians, right? Like, you know, you're not Native American. Like, well, no, Columbus, they're not the real Indians. We are. But there's so many of us now, if Columbus landed today, he would find real Indians. People are like, oh, you know, what are you? Well, I'm Asian. You're not really Asian, right? Guess I'm not really Asian. And then they're like, well, you're East Indian. That became our little bubble to fill in. Like, going to school, like, with a lot of the folks here, well, I didn't have a bubble. It was like, fill it in, like, white, black, other. That was it. That was it. I was other for the longest time. Then there were, like, Latinos and Hispanics, and there were Asians and Pacific Islanders. They had their own thing. Islanders, there are like 3 of those people. How come they got I started calling us East Indians. Are there any West Indians? I mean, there's like 12 people in the Caribbean now. That's not fair. You have to go as a cardinal direction. That's what ended up happening to real Indians. But I'm here to explain the difference in some of the Indians that exist, okay? I remember the next joke, but that's your biggest fear as a comedian is what if you just blanked on stage in front of all these fine people? That would be really sad. You're just like, oh man, what was I gonna say? But that happens in real life all the time. People are in the middle of telling you a story and they're like, what was I saying? You know? And you never know, they always get mad at you. They're like, weren't you listening? I'm like, weren't you talking? And I don't know if all the brown people here tonight are really Indian. Do we have any Sri Lankans, people in the Maldives, Pakistanis? Pakistanis get really mad if you call them Indians. You have to give them a separate shout out. Indians don't care if you call us Pakistanis because we're winning, so it doesn't matter. So like, basically in India, you've got North Indians and South Indians. There are other kinds, but this is my map of India, by the way. Like, I know Michiganders love to give you this thing, you know, but it's missing the Upper Peninsula. This is really an accurate map of India. So South Indians, I don't know if we have any South Indians here tonight. All right, welcome to the South Indians. How you doing? All right, sweet. It's good to have you here. South Indians tend to have the longest last names on the planet. Which I don't understand, because you were some of the first people on the planet. The short names were not taken. You could have been Ram or Sham, but you went with these really long last names. Now, it gives you a bit of credibility depending on your field. I have a couple of friends who do yoga, and I asked my one friend, I'm like, who's your instructor? Who's your guru? He says, Guru Bose. Like, he sounds okay. I asked my other friend, like, who's your guru? He says, Gopal Chandra Krishna Bala Subramaniam. That guy sounds amazing. So I'm Punjabi. Punjabis are the soldiers of India. Unless you are 5'6" and 100 pounds. Then you become a comedian, right? Gujaratis, do we have any Gujaratis in the house? All right. So we gave away free tickets, obviously. They catch a lot of flack for saving money, but it's not just you, it's all Indians, and it's all people. I'm gonna get into all that, but they're called good Jews, and the way you can remember that, they love to save money, they're good Jews. That's a good way to remember. Lot of great Gujaratis throughout history. My favorite, Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, of course, led India to independence. What's weird being Gujarati, he was saying, India should be free. He was just talking about the price, and then suddenly... Oh, Indians love to save money. It's not because we are cheap. It's because we are smart. Okay, that has a lot to do with it. And in fact, all minority groups when they came to this country had the same story because the immigration laws were that you could only bring $8 to the United States of America. So whether you're Indian or Korean, Japanese, Irish, Italian, everybody came here with $8 in their pocket. The only difference with Indians is they never spent those $8. They turn them into millions. The reason for this is because status in our culture is not measured by what you spend. It's measured by what you save, all right? This is true. You go to a white party, a black party, Latino party, they brag about what they spend. They love to. It's like, I spent $1,000, I got a new video camera, I spent $1,000. His friend will try to one-up him. It's like, yeah, I spent $2,000. You will never hear that at an Indian party, ever. Like, I bought a new video camera, I spent $1,000. How did bench it? The other got ripped off, I spent $350. Shop at Costco. We love shopping at Costco. All people who are cost conscious, you don't have to be Indian, all cost conscious people love to shop at Costco. The portions are so big. What the one thing I don't like about Costco, they check your receipt on the way out to make sure you haven't stolen anything. The portions are so big at Costco, what are you gonna steal out of there? Or are you gonna boost like an 8-pound jar of mayonnaise under my jacket? Steal anything out of Costco? Love to shop at Home Depot. I think I'd be more likely to shop at Home Depot if they would just finish the store. You walk in there, you're like, okay, this will be great when it's finished. If the raw materials, put them up, man, put them up. Now, I think this might be an exclusively Indian thing, but Indian people don't know that soap bottle refills exist. Soap gets down about a quarter of the way left in the bottle. We don't fill it up with soap. Fill it up with water, shake it up, and set it back on the sink. It's a little tip for the white people, I tell you, that's a good one. And it's not because we're cheap, we're smart. And in fact, India is one of the most diverse places in the world. Lots of religions. Jews, Muslims, Christians, Jains, Sikhs, Primarily Hindu, though. We believe in reincarnation, so we even reuse our souls year after year after year after year. We're the world's first eco-friendly religion, all right? But I can't believe that people in this day and age are still racist. That's so gay. I'm supposed to be using the slides. I forgot all about my slides. What am I doing? Okay, let's see, Act 1. Yeah, okay, being a Fairfield Indian. I really forgot about, okay, there's me with a dot on my forehead. Okay, probably seen that. Okay. On race, okay, that's where we are. I think that's where I want to be. Okay, that's a picture of me with all of my pants. And it reads, for my knickers and britches. Hispanics, we're any Latinos in the house? All right, we probably built the house, so welcome. Where are my black people at? Yeah. All right, hey, all right, how you guys doing? All right, not my black people, those days are over, but you know what I'm saying. Screw you, that's funny. I don't care, that's freaking funny right there. All right, oh, Brandon, how you doing, Brandon? All right, how you doing, buddy? That's unusual for Cincinnati, a black person, yay! I love how you gave me black power, too. That was great. He was like, black power, baby. You know what's weird about that? Black power, white power. Black power, white power. Black power. Brown power's like, oh, God. Okay, yeah. Good. I'm glad we got a black guy. It makes it a lot less awkward to do black jokes when there's a black guy in the audience. So this is good. Especially a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Brandon. It's good to have you here, buddy. No, it's true. It's weird. I realize this. It's always good to come home to Cincinnati, have my Graders, have my La Rosas, have my Skyline. You don't see many black people at Skyline because they serve the crackers first. That's what's weird. It's like, welcome to Cincinnati, where race relations aren't a joke. They're a riot. Okay. Racism doesn't make any sense. That's what's weird. I don't understand how people can be racist. It's an odd thing. I worked at Procter & Gamble for years, P&G, Punjabis and Gujaratis. It's weird. I belonged to the Asian affinity group. They had, different affinity groups depending on your race. And like I covered earlier, I considered myself not really to be Asian. I'm like, well, that's not fair. Indians should have their own group. I'm not going to be Asian. That's ridiculous. We should have our own group. They're like, well, if you're part of the group, you have a 4-day, 3-night, all-expenses-paid trip to San Francisco. I'm like, I'll be gay. Whatever. All right. Okay. Should slide. But I remember my white friend at work, apparently I only had one of them, he was like, well, that's not fair. He was, you get to take all these trips, and it's like, you have your Asian group, and your Latino group, and your African-American group. It's like, that's not fair. We can't put all the Caucasians in one room. I'm like, yeah, you can. It's called a board meeting. And, my manager at P&G was black. Well, he probably still is. I just haven't seen him in a while. It's so weird. Calvin, what happened? I got promoted. He had such a great sense of humor about racial issues. I remember that. That's what minorities do when we're with other minorities. We're not making fun of white people. We're making fun of each other without your guilt. Okay, that's essentially what we're doing. Well, like busting on each other, and I remember that. I remember one afternoon, I went up to him. I'm like, Calvin, are you free? He goes, since 1863, dog. Taking that joke to Fairfield, son. It's odd to me, though. There's certain words you hear in the English language, and you only hear them in that particular context. Like, if you hear the word predominantly, you know the phrase black neighborhood is coming right after. I don't even think it's racist. It's like parentheses, predominantly black neighborhood, every single time. It's like wreaking havoc. You want to wreak tonight, sir? Havoc is your only option, okay? They always go together. It's like the word stow. I flew here from Los Angeles. The stewardess comes over. She's like, sir, will you please stow your cell phone? Yeah, I can stow my cell phone. I can put it away. You can stow when you're 30,000 feet in the air. You can't stow on the ground. Now, you could go to the stow, in a predominantly black neighborhood. Maybe even wreak some havoc, who knows? But there's a difference between racism and ignorance, and you fine folks seem to get it. There's a difference. You can be racist without being ignorant. You can be ignorant without being racist. I was doing a stand-up show down in Alabama, don't ask me why, and it was great. It went really well. It was all white folks, a few black folks, no brown folks anywhere to be found, all right? And after the show, this white girl comes up to me, and she's trashed out of her mind, true story. Not that it's hard to believe a white girl will be trashed out of her mind. I don't know why I said true story there. She walks up to me after the show and she says, "You were like really funny. You were really good. I loved your jokes, but I just have one question for you. You weren't one of the ones that flew the plane into the building now, were you?" I didn't know what to say. How do you explain? I was like, they're dead. They were suicide bombers. Anyone you meet who's still alive, by definition, can't be one of these 19 men. But it was a teachable moment. I took the opportunity to educate this poor girl. I told her I cannot be a terrorist. I'm Hindu. Terrorists are Muslim. There's no way. But see, the thing is, wherever you go, and a lot of us have traveled a lot of different places. Wherever you go, there are educated people and there are ignorant people. Don't let anyone tell you it's different anywhere. It's true all over the world, whether you're in the Midwest, on the coast, around the planet. It's all the same. People on the coast are ignorant about the Midwest, just like we're ignorant about the rest of the world. It's true. It's true. People on the coast, they were like, Ohio, what are you guys, a bunch of farmers? Like, no, except election time. They know we're the deciders, so they're real nice to us during the election time. We're the deciders. But, it's true, here, growing up here, people would ask me, like, what's India like? I went to India when I was 9. This is, between 3rd and 4th grade. And my friends were like, whoa, what's India like? Do they have cars over there in India? I'm like, no, they're about to get in a nuclear war with Pakistan, and nobody can drive an automobile. They skipped combustion and went straight to fission, baby. When India finally attacks the country, they're gonna drop their warheads from an elephant. What do you... It makes no sense. I don't know. But it's interesting, the different political positions. I'm very left, very right. I'm in the middle on a lot of things, depending on what the issue is. Amnesty has become a big issue in this country. People will say that, people are here illegal, we'll just make them citizens. We'll just give them rights. I'm like, I don't know. They'd be like, if I broke into your house. And I'm like, I know I shouldn't have done that, but now that I'm here, can I have my own room? But it depends on the issue. It depends on the issue. A lot of people will say that. We elected Barack Obama in 2008. Whatever your politics are, it was an amazing feat for the United States and for the world. I do think it was. You don't agree. That's fine. Listen. Point is, I think that thank you very much. That's great. Well, a lot of people will say this proves that anybody could be president. I'm like, no, George Bush proved anybody could be president. But whatever your politics, see, the thing is with Obama, it's an interesting time in which we live. Brandon, back me up on this one. It's an interesting time in which we live. It's true, right? Because racism doesn't make sense. You think about, now the great thing is we can tell black jokes in public. Y'all are no longer oppressed. That's a great thing about Obama being president. The downside is that hip-hop music is not as good as it used to be. It's my favorite kind of music. I love hip-hop. I love rap. It's so much fun. And slavery is the worst thing to ever happen in this country. The worst thing. But without slavery, there are now African Americans. With no African Americans, there's no hip-hop. With no hip-hop, there's no happiness. You see? So eventually, inadvertently, it turns out to be maybe a good thing. But listen, here's the deal. With Obama being president, the music isn't as good. Hip-hop isn't as good because great art comes from great pain. It's like the blues, all right? Now that Obama's president, they have nothing to complain about anymore, so the music isn't as good. It's true. If aliens got their information about the human race from our music, they'd be totally confused. They would think black people have everything and white people ain't got nothing, okay? You put on a black song, a hip-hop spot, they talk about what they have. Got my ride, got my shorty, got my drink, got my two-step. Put on a white song, a country track, they talk about what they don't have. I lost my house, I lost my car, I lost my girl, I lost my dog. But when I realized that racism made no sense was these signs, these anti-Obama signs that sprouted out everywhere. Like, they would call him a communist, and then they would call him a fascist. They actually had pictures of him as the Joker, and then they had pictures of him as Hitler. And I was like, really? With a mustache and the whole thing? I'm like, he can't be a communist if he's Hitler. That didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It was such an odd thing. I mean, Hitler, like, let's talk about Hitler for a second, because that never makes people uncomfortable. It never does. Just gotta keep saying the word over and over until you go with me on this one, all right? Hitler was a great marketer. He was a great marketer. The bigger you lie, the more people will believe it. This has been said many, many times. So Hitler came along, and he had this whole thing going where he would say, we're gonna have blonde hair and blue eyes. That's what it's gonna be. We're gonna have blonde hair and blue eyes. The whole world is gonna be like that. But doesn't he realize how bad crime would have been if he would have succeeded? Think about convenience stores, which I don't know who would run those because there would be no Indians anymore. But a convenience store gets knocked over, and how do you describe the guy? Well, he had blonde hair and blue eyes. That's the whole world. I don't know how to match this guy. And Hindus have a real beef with Hitler, and it's not often that Hindus have beef. Because he stole our swastika. That swastika is a Hindu symbol for Shakti, for light, for good. And he turned it by 45 degrees, and he started killing people with it. That was not a cool thing for him to do. It was amazing, but did nobody stop Hitler at that point and go, wait a second, okay, so your plan is blonde hair and blue eyes, but you've got brown hair and brown eyes. And when the Allies were coming, he was like, okay, I'm gonna partner up with the Axis. What we're gonna do, blonde hair and blue eyes, those are the ones who are gonna rule the rest of the planet. Who are we gonna partner up with? This Italian man and this Japanese guy. And nobody was like, I got a question. Wow, thanks for going with me on that. Okay, all right. We're through it. They don't teach you that stuff in school, though. That's what's interesting about it. They don't teach you that stuff in school. I went to University of Cincinnati. Any UC folks here tonight? All right, UC in the house. Xavier, any Xavier people here tonight? No, Michael went to Xavier. Miami University. Did you buy your own tickets, or did Daddy pay for those too? I'm just a bigger groan than Hitler. You're like, oh, Miami, no, that's ridiculous. I went to college originally to become a doctor, because obviously, and I actually got a degree in engineering. I worked at Wright Pat Air Force Base for a couple of summers. Wright Pat Air Force Base. Worked there on turbine engines, because I'm a turbine engine. It was kind of an interesting. That was my whole resume. It worked out. It was great. But I miss being in school. Anyone here still in college? Okay, still in college. All right, welcome. All right, so you're still in college? All right. Excellent. What do you go to school for?
Accounting.
Accounting. All right, are you going to figure out how old you are, that you're still in college? Because that's fantastic. Stay in school. Stay in school as long as you possibly can. I used to think it meant don't drop out. No, stay there, because it's the best time of your life. Just keep getting majors and minors and just never leave. Honestly, working is not nearly as fun as being at school. And I miss those days. I even miss studying. And people are like, you miss studying. I miss like those late night study sessions. It's 3 in the morning. The test is at 7. You haven't opened the book. You haven't even bought the book yet. Bookstore's still open. Can we still get this thing? We used to study in these groups of like 5 or 6 people, and we would argue over some concept for like an hour, and nobody could agree on it. And all those discussions would end the exact same way every single time. Dude, he's not gonna put that on there. It was half the test, so. I did well in school because I had a photographic memory, but a partial photographic memory, and I think a lot of us have this. Like, I couldn't remember the quadratic formula, but I could remember what side of the book it was on. You do this, you're like, it's negative b plus or minus. I don't know, it's on the right-hand side, at the bottom, in a little orange box. Is that partial credit or something? I don't know. Engineering was great, but I had a lot of Indian professors, and I love Indian professors. The only thing I don't like about them, they never answered questions. and be like, hey, what's the Krebs cycle? What do you think it is? Hey, jerk, we're paying $50,000 a year to go to school here. You tell us what it is, man. It's like in elementary school. You're like, hey, teacher, how do you spell this word? Look it up. I can't look it up. I don't know how to spell it. What they need to do is they need to teach common sense in school. That's what they really need to teach is common sense. Because no matter which office you work in, whether it's a great office, it doesn't matter how many smart people there are always dumb people in every office across the land. If you're thinking not in my office, well, guess who you are in the office. But it's true. I got all A's in English class and I cannot read parking signs. I don't know if you're the same way or not, but I'll pull up my car and I'll just be like, there's like 4 signs. The whole pole is covered. What do these even say? No parking, 2-hour parking, except Sundays. Does that mean I can park for 2 hours on Sunday? Does that mean I can't park at all on Sunday? Street sweeping till 4. Parking till 12 a.m. Saturday. That's Friday night, right? Oh, it's a permit zone. To get all the way to the bottom, it doesn't even apply to you. The other place I get totally confused is in the post office. I'll walk in with my letter and I'll be nervous as soon as I get there. I'll walk in and I'll be like, what the heck is going on at the U.S. Postal Service? How are they going to do healthcare? There's no way. Metered mail, stamped mail. What the hell is metered mail? Stamp mail, this has a stamp on it. Does that mean? Because once I drop it in there, it's all over. 16 ounces or less. That should be fewer. I know that should be 16 ounces or fewer, but how much is 16 ounces? No, I drink 12 ounces of beer. Is that the same? That's fluid ounces, right? How much is an ounce? So it's really helpful to have a friend who smokes pot. Yeah, bro, that's an ounce. 80% of the internet is porn. Some of you know this, okay? Which means we're wasting 20% of the internet on actual knowledge and information. It's weird. I don't know, how many people have the iPhone 5 or planning on getting the iPhone 5? All right, you already have it? Do you like it? No. Okay, all right. Or you go to you do like it. Okay. You didn't get lost on the way here with the maps thing or whatever else. You didn't drive. You're a woman. Who drove you here? He drove you. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. You're over here. Okay. You're on patrol. Okay. So over here. That's good. The Google Maps thing is a weird thing to me. I never realized that the streets near my house had that many names. You know, it'd be like right on Red Oak, right on Hunter, right on Pleasant Avenue / Hamilton Avenue / US 127 South. Wait, I'm lost already. What's going on? I love Apple products. The only thing I don't like about them, they've gotten a little bit cocky. If you think about it, Apple's a little bit cocky. And if you think about it, it took till the 3rd generation of iPhone for them to have copy and paste. iPhone 3 had copy and paste, and only the tech industry could pull that off. The car industry could never get away with that. Could you imagine it? The 2013 Acura now makes right-hand turns. The one thing, I feel like the United States is slipping in so many ways, and it is the greatest country in the world. There is no doubt about that. I love the United States of America. But I hope that that we remain #1 in the country drop-down menu when you're shopping online, okay? This is the one thing I hope that we remain #1 in, because you'll go to buy something online and you'll put in your name, the street name, the city, the state, and I get really pissed off when the United States of America is not listed first in that list. It really bothers me because we invented the computer. We should have no scroll privileges. I feel like we should always be at the top. Otherwise, I have to go past like Uganda and UAE and all these countries I don't know because I went to public school, so I don't know. Otherwise, you know which country is listed first if we go alphabetical? Afghanistan. Really? Afghanistan? Do they have computers in Afghanistan? But that's the U.S.'s foreign policy for you. We'll bomb your country for a decade, but you can be first in our drop-down menu. My favorite application on the iPhone and the Droid is Shazam. I think Shazam is an amazing app. If you don't know what it is, basically if you don't know the name of a song, you can hold it up, and after 5 seconds it'll tell you the name and the artist of the song. It's unbelievable. They need to make the same application for people, because I forget their names all the time. Wouldn't that be awesome? Someone's walking towards you, like, oh my gosh, take a picture in 5 seconds. Catherine, hi! Call it like Who Dis. That would be great. It's basically fantastic. And they're putting GPS in everything now. They're putting GPS in everything that you have in your car and your phone, but they need to put GPS in stuff that you lose all the time, but you're not really sure how you lost it, like your hats and your gloves and your scarves, virginity. That I still have, so. So here's, Google is probably my favorite website on the web. Such a simple, elegant interface, it's amazing, 2 buttons, although I feel like they need to add a 3rd, because I feel like that's all I end up doing. Anyway. Awesome. It's amazing. Wikipedia, to me, is an unbelievable thing. People go online and they will fill the entire thing out themselves. It's amazing. Like, they don't get paid to do it. There is an entry for absolutely everything. If you want to find out everything about Black History Month, Brandon, I'm going to tell you why February is Black History Month. I know you've been wanting to know your entire life. I know a lot of people have said it's because it's missing 2 days and Julius and Augustus stole them, but there's more to it than that, okay? The NBA All-Star Game is in February, all right? Definitely the best athletes in the world, Black folks, all right? Also, the Super Bowl is in February. There is not a coincidence going on here, all right? The best athletes, the best musicians, the Grammys are also in February. Bet you never thought about that. The Oscars are also in February. Anyone who wears that much gold has to be black. President's Day is in February, and right now that makes all the sense in the world, Barack Obama being president. Groundhog Day is in February. His shadow is black. That's amazing. Unbelievable that would also happen on February 2nd. Valentine's Day is in February. Best gift, chocolate. And the birthstone for February is amethyst, which we know is the color purple. Unbelievable. You thought this was going to be a stand-up show. It's a lecture. You did not realize that's what was going to happen. Of course, my parents are here tonight. Round of applause for my parents, my lovely parents. My dad is there. We are now twins. You can look at us. Neither of us has our hair anymore. There's my mom seated there. She is looking lovely, as always. And my parents, though, of course, have been very supportive of my career choice. For the longest time, they wanted me to be a doctor, and then the healthcare, crisis happened in '94, and then they wanted me to go into investment banking, and that whole thing fell apart. And then they wanted me to go into computers, and the dot-com bust happened. Suddenly, being a comedian didn't look so risky anymore. So people will say, they're like, "What do your parents think about you being a comedian?" I'm like, "My brother's gay. It's fine. Don't worry." Flying under the radar. This is great. This is good. So now I went to go work for a nonprofit, Procter & Gamble, and it's true. I worked at P&G for 6 years before I resigned, and before I quit, I guess, because I wasn't important enough to resign. Like you resign if you're like a vice president. At my level, you just quit. It's like if I get shot tomorrow, I'm not assassinated. I'm just dead. I've got some one-liners for you, if you want to hear them. Well, even if you don't want to hear them, I'm going to do them. Has anyone seen that show on A&E called Hoarders? I'm obsessed with that show. And I've been DVRing it, and I cannot bring myself to delete the episodes. It's driving me absolutely insane. Oh, very nice! Very nice, Jason. That's impressive. Very good. Got the rim shot. Why is the never-ending pasta bowl at the Olive Garden available for a limited time only? Do Taco Bell commercials in Canada say run for the border? I went to the Amazon this year, and it was the weirdest thing. It had a sign that said, if you like this, you'd also like the Nile. I'm gonna bring you to all my shows, by the way. All of them. If you're a smartass, do you have a wisecrack? I have a Buddhist friend who sends me emails with "see detached." My first computer was a gateway, and as I thought it might, it led to other computers. I'm thinking about getting one of those "Jesus is my co-pilot" bumper stickers, just so I can use the carpool lane. How often is my girlfriend a bitch? Periodically. Whenever people say, shoot for the moon, that way if you miss, at least you'll land amongst the stars, I always think, wow, this person does not understand astronomy. Here we go. So, this is back in the day, needless to say. Those are my two parents and my two brothers and me in the middle. And I'm looking off into space, imagining that I'd be doing the show for you fine people, I guess. And that's me getting my Roadrunner's license at the near the Burbanks. You know that near 75. That's the license I had. It's only since Asians can't drive. It's the only one I have. And then I left, and I went to California. I lived here for 30 years, and I moved to California 6 years ago. And I've been in California for the last 6 years. I've met some very cool people. That's me with Kevin Nealon, and he's showing how short, I guess, I am. Me with Kevin Nealon. That's with Russell Peters. That's with Chris Rock. That is the only one that makes my mom jealous. She's like, I really want to meet Chris Rock. With Chris Rock, with Dave Chappelle. And that's with Jay Leno, and that's my mom, not his. That would be kind of interesting if it were, though. And that's me with Eva Longoria, who's not a comedian, but she's hot, so I had to show you that. And that's me not having the time to talk to her, which is... She's a really good sport. I really was impressed with that. And that's with the Beatles. Here's a picture of the dog that tried to bite me. Here's the Mormon Tabernacle. All right, so that didn't really happen. That did not really happen. Okay. Wish it did. Maybe someday. All right, so we went to India in January. We did a tour called Make Chai Not War. And I started saying it really fast to be like, Make China War, and it sounded like I was saying Make China War. So I have to really slow it down. I'm not Mitt Romney, so I have to slow it down a little bit. And it's funny because the government actually spent $100,000 to send 3 comedians to India, which sounds like the beginning of a joke, but that's actually exactly what happened. And ironically, even though it was Make China Not War, the Tea Party was really mad about it. So that was really interesting. Okay, one of these isn't right. Okay, so the State Department. What was interesting when we went over there, we did an 8-city tour. And the state of Maharashtra, which is where Bombay is, the biggest or only city, according to Indians, in India, they wanted a copy of our script. And they're like, they were not going to give us approval until they had a copy of our script. And we're like, well, we don't really have a script. We're stand-ups. We have to be able to talk to people in the audience and go off book and all that good stuff. And they're like, well, we need it. We're like, well, this was Christmas time. And Make China Not War is actually a program that we put together. I'm Hindu, and my friend Azhar is Muslim. And we're like, it's Christmas time. That was our excuse. We're busy. At any rate. And so we were like, well, we don't have the time, but can you guys over there maybe like write out our scripts? Go to YouTube and like write out our scripts. And they thought that was ridiculous. So like, we don't have the resources. We don't have the people to make that happen. Some of you know where I'm going with this already. There's 1 billion people over there. That's your excuse? You don't have the people? Do you not have the heat or the spices either? Like, what do you not have? Like, it's India, right? And what's interesting when you go to India, like, they don't say they like your YouTube videos. They'll say, I like your YouTubes. I like your YouTubes. I like your YouTubes. It sounds very personal. I'm like, where have you seen my tubes? Man, I don't have any tubes. And it's weird. In India, all the 7-Elevens are run by white people. It's so odd. This is an actual sign in India. You would never see a sign like this in the United States of America. It actually just says, obey traffic rules. Not no left-hand turns or right-hand turns, just obey them. Can you see the slides okay? Take the lights down further, we're good. Good? Good. That's funny to you. Okay, all right, great. This is our favorite. I don't think I even have to say anything, really. We went to a Chinese restaurant in India, and you know, Indians, we love to make fun of the Chinese. And so when we saw this, you know, we're laughing. We're like, haha, they don't know how to speak English. They put man instead of men. Ha, Chinese are so dumb. And then I walked in, and there was one toilet. Chinese, they're always right, man. They're always right. Damn it. Before I get out of here, I did want to talk a little bit more about dating. And I will tell you a little bit more about my take on it. There it is. Yes, okay. There's me. This is not photoshopped, although it probably looks like it was. I actually, these are a bunch of my friends in LA that I paid. And I actually, you know, I hosted this fashion awards show recently called the Bollywood Music and Fashion Awards. And because that's how my career's going, it's going awesome. And they flew in models from Milan and Paris and Bombay and all these exotic places around the globe. And all my guy friends wanted to know the same thing after the show. It's like, did you hook it up, bro? Did you hook it up? Did you hook it up? Did you hook it up, bro? I'm like, no, I didn't hook it up, bro. They're models. I'm 5'6". Your first move on a girl can't be... And I'm not gay, by the way. I wanted to point that out. That wasn't the joke either, but thank you for laughing. And I have nothing against gay men. They're very loyal. They always have your back. And I could say that. I could say that because I'm homophobic. No, I could say that actually because my brother's gay. And I think a lot of you know that one of my brothers is gay. He actually came out of the closet recently. Well, we're Indian, so he came out of the cupboard. And he sat down with my parents, and he told them, he's like, the reason I haven't brought a girl home for so many years is I'm gay. And the room got very tense and very awkward, kind of like it did just now. But it wasn't as hard as the conversation I had to have with my parents when I said the reason I haven't brought a girl home for so many years is I'm a loser. Of course, with me, you can make a pretty compelling case either way on the straight gay thing. On the straight side, I really like football and baseball and basketball and cars and beef jerky. And on the other hand, I really like shoe shopping and handbags and dick. I'm kidding. I don't like handbags. They've gotten too big. And some of my friends are very particular with the kind of girls they say they want to date. They say they only date Indian girls, they only date white girls, only date black girls. To me, you're all beautiful. I mean, the pretty ones. And I'm not a chauvinist, by the way, but when I go to strip clubs, I I don't give the girls dollar bills. I toss them Susan B. Anthony coins for the irony. I sort of am God's gift to women, just not wrapped very well, I guess. Before I get out of here, I do want to say that I think I learned a lot with the scale from 1 to 10 thing. That had a lot of influence on my life. I realized that that is how society operates. Like, we never leave high school. College is like high school. The rest of your life is like high school. And so what ends up happening is we all are assigned a number on a scale from 1 to 10. You don't get to pick it. Society assigns it to you. Okay, so I'm a 6, and I know that. And she's looking at me like, dude, you're a 4, but seriously. The rule is you can only date and be happy with somebody who's up or down 1 digit from you on the scale, okay? That's the formula. So if I'm a 6, I can only date a 5, 6, or 7. But I've dated 10s before, and people are like, well, how have you dated 10s? What about your rule? Here's the thing. Ladies, you are what you are. If you're an 8, you're an 8. You're beautiful, but you can't go up or down on the scale. Fellas can go up on the scale if we're funny and we have money, okay? So I'm a 6 for looks. I'm funny on most nights, so I become a 7. And I've got some money in the bank from Procter & Gamble, so I become an 8. And that's how I date 10s. People are like, yeah, but that's still 2 numbers apart. What I do is I meet a 10, and I break her self-esteem down so she thinks she's a 9. Of course, in our culture, in Indian culture, arranged marriage is a very big deal. My parents actually had a love marriage. That's what we call it in India when they fall. It was a one-way love marriage. My dad really loves my mom. And but it's kind of an arranged marriage too, because he arranged to become a completely different person after they got married. So. But that pressure starts early in our culture to get married, right about the time you're like an embryo or a zygote. It's really as soon as you graduate college, which is another reason to stay in school, and why there's so many Indian doctors. Like, we'll stay in school till we're 50, till death do us part is only 20 years. So, otherwise, your parents have that conversation with you. Beta, you're 22. Next year, you're 23. Meet girl, 24. Fix engagement, 25. You're already 26. I'm still 22. Why are you promoting me all of these ages? What happened when I was 11 for 5 years? I got into Kings Island for free. You don't have to be Indian. Every cheap family did that, man. Like, hey, tell them you're 11. Dad, I drove here. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you very, very much. I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Both shows are sold out, which has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. And people ask me, how do I keep going? It's because of the love in this room. And I am not saying that because this is the end of the show. I don't need your help anymore. So I'm telling you that. I really, really, really do mean that. Thank you so much to my parents, to my brothers, to my brother's girlfriend, my other brother who's straight. That would be kind of his beard, and her parents, and all of my friends from Fairfield, my parents' friends, everyone else who came out, John Key Sweater, my people from P&G. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you. Come again. Okay.